There comes a moment in life where nothing feels the same. You wake up, and the world feels heavier. But strangely, you feel lighter. The people around you don't understand you anymore. And you're not even sure you understand yourself. You're not broken. You're evolving. Because before you meet the new you, the old version of you must die. The version that played small. That sought approval. That feared change. If you've been sensing powerful shifts in your thoughts, your energy, your perspective, you're not going crazy. You're being reborn. In today's video, we're diving deep into 7 intense changes that mean you're about to meet the most powerful version of yourself, the one life has been preparing you for all along. If even one of these hits you deep, you already know, your transformation has begun. So make sure to like, subscribe, and join this journey, because your rebirth deserves to be witnessed. 1. You feel disconnected, but not lonely. There's a strange feeling that creeps in before transformation begins, a sense of detachment. You walk into a room full of people, and yet you feel like you don't belong there anymore. Conversations that used to excite you now feel like static noise. Parties feel meaningless. Loud environments overwhelm you. You find yourself nodding through small talk, pretending to care about things that once made you laugh. But deep inside, you're somewhere else entirely. You're not being distant. You're not turning cold. You're evolving. You're beginning to crave depth over distraction. Instead of noise, you long for silence. Instead of people-pleasing, you yearn for peace. What others call loneliness, you're starting to see as liberation. Because for the first time, you're not afraid to be alone with your thoughts. In fact, you're starting to prefer your own company over forced interactions. The world may think you're isolating, withdrawing, becoming cold, but what's really happening is this: you're aligning. The universe is gently pulling you away from everything that no longer serves your higher self. It's detaching you from the noise so you can finally hear your own voice again. It's removing you from the crowd so you can remember who you are when no one's watching. This disconnection isn't a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. You're not lost. You're finally tuning in. You're not lonely. You're reconnecting with your truest self. 2. You're shedding old versions of you. Have you ever scrolled through old photos and felt like you were staring at a stranger? The face looks familiar, but something feels off. It's like you're looking at a version of yourself that doesn't exist anymore. Not because of a haircut or a wardrobe change, no. It's deeper than that. It's your spirit that has shifted. The things you used to dream about, they no longer excite you. The goals that once lit a fire in your chest now feel empty. You find yourself drifting away from old routines, old friendships, even old identities. And while part of you wants to cling to them, for comfort, for safety, another part knows it's time to let go. You're not broken. You're evolving. You're not confused. You're awakening. What's happening is something most people never have the courage to do. You're shedding. You're shedding habits, behaviors, beliefs, even relationships that no longer align with your truth. And here's the most powerful part: you're not shedding them because they were bad. You're letting them go because they've simply expired. They served a purpose. They taught you something. But they were never meant to stay forever. And now, as your soul prepares for its next level, you can feel the weight of who you used to be falling away. And it's terrifying, isn't it? Because shedding is messy. It's not neat. It's not graceful. It's silent breakdowns at midnight. It's outgrowing people you thought you'd have forever. It's mourning versions of yourself you once fought so hard to become. But know this: what's coming needs more from you. The new you demands new habits, new energy, new boundaries. The person you're becoming doesn't settle, doesn't shrink, doesn't repeat old cycles. You're not who you were, and you're not quite who you're becoming. You're somewhere in between, in the fire, where real transformation happens. Let yourself burn. Because what rises from these ashes will be unstoppable. 3. You're triggered by growth. We've been sold a lie that growth is always beautiful. That it feels like meditating by the ocean, journaling in perfect handwriting, or whispering affirmations into the mirror with a candle flickering nearby. But here's the raw truth: real growth is brutal. It's not pretty. It's not peaceful. Sometimes, it looks like breaking down on your bedroom floor at 2 a.m., questioning your entire life, your choices, your worth, and wondering if you're losing your mind. And maybe right now, your world feels like it's falling apart. Everything feels uncertain. The things you once counted on are slipping through your fingers. People are changing. Plans are collapsing. You feel unsteady, raw, vulnerable, and a part of you wants to scream. Why is this happening to me? But let me tell you something, this isn't punishment. It's transformation in motion. The universe isn't destroying your life, it's tearing down the version of it that was too small for who you're becoming. Real growth triggers you. It activates your fears. It confronts your traumas. It puts a mirror in front of you and says, "Look, it's time to deal with this." Because just like the caterpillar, you can't become the butterfly without completely dissolving everything you thought you were. That's not poetry. That's science. The caterpillar literally melts into goo inside the cocoon. It doesn't just grow wings, it completely breaks down and rebuilds into something new. And that's exactly what your soul is doing right now. You are dissolving, shedding, breaking. Not because you're weak, because you're becoming. Your breakdown isn't a failure. It's the birthplace of your higher self. So if you're crying more than usual, if you're confused, if you feel everything all at once, don't run from it. Lean in. Let it hurt. Let it shake you. Because after the shaking comes the rising. This chaos you're feeling? It's not the end. It's the beginning of who you really are. 4. You've stopped explaining yourself. There comes a powerful moment in your journey where something shifts, and suddenly, you no longer feel the urge to justify your choices, your path, or your truth. You used to explain yourself. Over and over again. You'd bend your voice just to be heard, soften your truth just to be accepted, and shrink your soul just to make others feel comfortable around your light. But not anymore. Now there's a silence in you. A silence that screams confidence. You've realized that not everyone will understand you, and you've made peace with that. Because truth doesn't need to be defended. It doesn't require a roundtable debate or a slideshow presentation. Truth simply is. And the people meant for you will feel it, no explanation required. When you begin becoming the real you, the evolved you, the elevated you, validation starts to feel empty. You stop begging for people to see your worth because you've finally seen it for yourself. You stop arguing for your limitations. You stop convincing people to treat you right. You stop trying to fit into places you've outgrown. This isn't arrogance. It's alignment. You're no longer driven by the need to be liked, understood, or even respected. You're driven by something far more powerful, authenticity. And once you taste that kind of freedom, you'll never go back to explaining your soul to those who were never meant to hear it. You understand now that some people will misinterpret your silence, your boundaries, your decisions, and that's okay. Let them. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to be true to yourself. This is the kind of growth that makes people uncomfortable. This is the kind of self-respect that echoes without sound. So if you've stopped explaining yourself, stopped over-explaining your worth, your emotions, your choices, congratulations. That's not a loss of connection. That's a rise in consciousness. You're not walking away from others. You're walking back home to you. 5. You're attracted to peace more than excitement. There was a time in your life when chaos felt like home. When unpredictable people, toxic relationships, and emotional roller coasters kept your heart racing, and you mistook that adrenaline for love. You called it passion. You called it excitement. But the truth is, it was survival. It was trauma disguised as chemistry. And for a while, you didn't know the difference. You were addicted to intensity. Not because it made you feel good, but because calm felt unfamiliar. But now, something inside you has shifted. You've started to realize that peace isn't boring, it's sacred. You no longer chase after people who make you feel high one moment and hollow the next. You don't crave the drama. You don't want the chaos. You're not attracted to emotional instability masked as depth. You want stillness. You want presence. You want safe love. Not loud love. And most of all, you want to feel safe inside your own energy. Now you find beauty in quiet mornings, in soft conversations, in slow healing. You're drawn to people who feel like warm light, not wildfire. People who don't raise your anxiety, but lower your heart rate. People who don't challenge your peace, but protect it like it's their own. This shift didn't happen overnight. You had to outgrow the part of you that thought love had to be loud. You had to unlearn everything you were taught about intensity equaling importance. And now, you protect your peace like it's your home. Because it finally is. This is what maturity looks like. This is what self-love sounds like. It's not loud. It's not messy. It's quiet, grounding, and powerful beyond words. You're not settling. You're elevating. This is your higher self rising to the surface. And it no longer finds chaos attractive. It finds peace irresistible. 6. You're losing people, but finding yourself. There's a pain no one warns you about on the path to transformation, the pain of outgrowing people you love. People start pulling away. Friendships you thought would last forever begin to fade. Some relationships turn cold, distant, even hostile. And the most confusing part? You didn't fight. You didn't do anything wrong. You just grew. And that's what hurts the most. Because growth often feels like loss. You find yourself questioning, why is everyone leaving? But the real question is, why are you still trying to bring everyone with you? Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next level. Some people were only assigned to the chapter you just finished. They came to teach you something. To mirror parts of you. To challenge your comfort zone. But they were never meant to stay for the whole book. Yes, it's painful when someone you trusted becomes a stranger. Yes, it's heartbreaking when you realize you've changed so much that the people you used to laugh with now don't recognize you at all. But hear this. You are not losing them. You are finding you. Because the version of you that needed those people, that version is gone. And now, your soul is calling you somewhere higher. This isn't rejection. It's redirection. This isn't abandonment. It's alignment. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of you finally meeting yourself without the noise of others defining who you should be. So let them walk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them go without closure. You don't owe anyone your old self just to make them stay comfortable. If you're losing people right now, it's because you're finally choosing yourself. And sometimes the path to becoming whole means walking it alone for a little while. But don't be afraid. Because in that solitude, something sacred happens. You'll hear your own voice clearly for the first time. And you'll realize, this is who I was always meant to be. 7. You can't go back anymore. There comes a moment in transformation where you look back at your old life, your old mindset, your old identity, and you realize something chilling. You can't return there, even if you wanted to. Not because the path is blocked, but because you've outgrown the person who walked it. You've seen too much. You've felt too deeply. You've stretched your soul beyond the point of return. The illusions that once comforted you? Gone. The roles you used to play, the people pleaser, the perfectionist, the silent sufferer, they no longer fit. Wearing them now would feel like putting on a mask you can't breathe behind. You've awakened to who you really are. And no matter how tempting it might be to return to the easy version of yourself, you simply can't shrink anymore. You've tasted freedom. You've touched truth. And there's no going back to pretending, hiding, or waiting. You've crossed an invisible line. The point of no return. You don't belong in old conversations, old environments, old identities. They feel too small now, because they are. And more than that, you've changed at a cellular level. Your energy, your frequency, your essence, it's not the same. The old you has died. Quietly. Honorably. And what's rising now is someone reborn in silence, in solitude, and in fire. So when your mind tempts you with thoughts like, maybe I should go back, remind yourself, that version of you only knew how to survive. This version of you is here to thrive. There's no more pretending, no more performing, no more putting your light on dim to make others comfortable. This is the new you, and the world has no idea what's coming. As we conclude, if even one of these signs resonated with you, trust this. You're not lost. You're just shedding your skin. The pain, the confusion, the solitude, it's all part of becoming. You're not falling apart. You're falling into place. You are about to meet the most real, raw, powerful version of you. And the world won't know what hit it. Tell me in the comments, which sign hit you the hardest? I read them all, and I want to hear your story. If this message stirred something in your soul, like this video, subscribe and turn on notifications, because your transformation journey is just beginning.